that we have joined the antisocial network.
Yeah. Mask up, stay 6 feet apart.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Hi, welcome back to YUH with Lisa, Phil, and Aaron. And we are talking today to Joseph Lenard. He is an author. He's kind of a motivational speaker, in my opinion. He is a cancer survivor, specifically leukemia. Now, I will say, I want to say something about myself. I don't want to make it about me, but you talk about uh, being kind of positive. And if people ask you how you are, just kind of, say, I'm good, you know, and, try to mean it. And honestly, it's kind of funny in a way because I do that. And I mean, not to I don't know. But I am also technically a cancer survivor. I do say technically. I did go through the "you have cancer" thing. I had uterine cancer, and the doctor was like, "Well, you definitely have uterine cancer." And thank God I had a bladder issue that caused me to have an ultrasound, which then showed rather large cysts on my ovary. And when they went in to look at that, what they found was, and then they did a couple of biopsy things. When they went in to look at that stuff, they found some cancer cells in my uterus. So then they said that they needed to take my uterus out. I was 50. I was thrilled. Okay. And they did that. And I had cancer for a little over a month. But the point is, I got the diagnosis. I'm sitting there and I just blanked. And it took a full week for me to tell anyone because I had to sit with that idea for a solid week.
Yeah.
And I was, a little bit weepy and a little bit, like, couldn't catch my breath. But
You
I
down you
finally,
downplayed it to the extent that I wasn't.
right, I
I was
downplayed it for
almost.
Philip because he's an anxiety monkey, is what I call him. My little
Yeah, but
anxiety
it's like
monkey.
I
But yeah,
the surgery was
mhm,
upon us almost
right.
by the time you told
Well, they
me, and
wanted
then
me to do it right away
yeah.
because they didn't really know how much cancer I had. And it turns out I had more than she thought, but less than she uh, feared. I
Anyway,
didn't, it wasn't in any of my, whatevers.
anyway,
And then you come to today. And the example of a couple of months ago, I saw someone I hadn't seen for quite some time. And since saw her, I have become a wheeled American. Uh, so, uh, since I saw her become a wheeled American. And the reason why I'm in the wheelchair is because of knee problems, vertigo, and some amputation, some toe amputation. And what happened there was someone ran over my foot in the car,
Oh,
and I walked it off.
ho,
Okay, I just
ho.
walked it off. I went to work, and my work involved me going up and down stairs, like 8 floors of stairs. So, but a few years later, what happened was that the walking it off part bit me in the toes, so to speak. And they had to take off a couple of my toes. Well, what I was going to be left with was this. Okay. And I was like, no, take them all.
yeah.
Take them all now. And they're like, well, we can come back in 3 months and take off the rest of them. And I'm like, why would you do that? That's stupid.
All right.
It will cost extra money, the whole 9 yards. So what we come down to is they took on my toes. So she's asking me, how did you end up in the wheelchair? And I'm like, I told her, and her mouth just, she's like,
So
and
welcome,
her face
Joseph.
is just going, okay.
It's good
And
to have
then,
you here.
I
Yeah.
also what came up was my kidney diagnosis. I have CKD and I'm on dialysis.
Yeah.
And I'm telling her this stuff because we were kind of friends, and then she stopped working at my work, and we lost touch. And it's just like, but what I usually just say is, yeah, I'm good because I feel okay.
So if you ask you how you're doing,
Yeah,
all you're going to say is, "I'm good."
yeah. But
Okay.
she pried, she wanted to know more.
Yeah.
And so she ended up with the whole, you know, shebang.
Yeah.
And but what it comes down to is
We didn't pry, and we
I
ended up with
don't
the whole
feel
shebang too.
like I'm sick. I'm sorry, what, Aaron?
I said we didn't pry, and we ended up with the whole shebang too.
Well, but the thing is, Joseph talks about positive attitude and thinking you're good and things
Try.
like smile to make
Yeah.
yourself feel better. Smiling literally does help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A couple things. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
One, Joseph M. Leonard. It
Uh-huh.
looks like Lenard. It's not French. It's actually Leonard Waskowicki or something in Polish at some time.
Okay.
Leonard without an O. I have to use my middle initial M because there is a Joseph Lenard who is also a Christian author. So Joseph M. Leonard, J. Leonard Detroit across most social media platforms. And your show is billed as a general podcast, so I can't resist lame puns. And I have to say, well, I'm perfect because I'm a 10-star general in the bullshit brigade. And I'm glad you exclude those other lower ranks. Yeah.
Right. We keep
But
hiding.
no,
Hey,
to-
we
No
only
corporals
keep
or
the
colonels
best.
here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
yeah, but to your point,
Uh-huh.
the Who song, I deal in music in my books. A picture tells 1,000 words at times. Well, a song title can also add 1,000 words to a story based on the songs. If someone knows the song, the feeling, kind of like I have tinyurl.com/ Carpe Diem official playlist of like 1,000 songs, some of them my originals. They set the mood and the tone, kind of a musical score for my books, as opposed to a musical score for a movie. And what comes to mind is The Who, Eminence Front. In my current book I'm writing that will drop May 2026, going to be an Amazon Kindle exclusive, so I could keep the price down short story. I mention Eminence Front in it, and that's true.
It's a put
Fake
on. It's a put on.
it's a put on, right? It's all a facade, even if it's a fake smile. You might get a real one in return, which helps not only them, but you.
Exactly.
So it is good. And I always say in my Life and Living series of books, tinyurl.com/life and living series, it could always be better, but it could often be worse. We're on the right side of the lawn, as the saying goes. We're not 6 feet under it. And as for cancer, since you brought it up, yes, 2010, leukemia. I was diagnosed. I made my funeral arrangements, was ready to die. Apparently, God wasn't done with me yet in 2010. So I'm still here. It's in remission.
Good
Great.
for you.
Congratulations.
That's fantastic. We lost a friend to leukemia. A really good
Yeah, high
friend.
school friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good that we're really happy to see that you did not have the same fate as he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
with
this
all the
weekend,
wonders of modern medicine, right? I mean, there are still a lot of things that kill us, but we've come up with not necessarily cures, but things that will be able to extend our lives.
no, Philip's niece has leukemia, and this weekend she is absolutely thrilled to be on her Make a Wish trip, and
Yeah.
she's going to Devo concert. I don't know if she is her family.
Whip it!
She and,
Whip it good!
she and two guests are going to a Whip It, to Devo. I don't know if she's actually meeting them or not.
She needs to get an energy dome while she's there.
That would be
Please?
cool.
I bet
She
you.
needs
Yeah, I
to
guess
get
you
an
could
energy
buy one
dome.
of those at
The
show.
Devo hat, the energy dome. She
Oh
needs
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's an idea. I'm pretty sure her father has probably bought and or sent her energy domes for Made out of tinfoil.
So I've had to enforce myself. You talk about smiling and projecting positivity. That's something I struggle with to this day. Even in high school, I got so sick of people that would say, "Oh, you need to smile more," or "You need." And I said, "What is the purpose of that? What the hell? Who the hell are you to tell me?
Oh,
I've got all this shit that I'm dealing with. Who are you to tell me this?"
But
But
science
I
actually,
but it
see
could
it.
be worse.
No,
Yes,
no, I
it could
see it
be
at work.
worse.
At
Yeah.
work, I have to force myself, and I do like smile at people, and I look them in the eyes, and I've
The
tried to,
dopamine
I've really made a
hits.
conscientious effort. Yeah, and it's like around my coworkers and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm more honest with them, and I'm much more,
then he really needs to
and
be.
I find myself in trouble sometimes. But yes, but I do think you're right. You're onto something there. I think that projecting that you'll foster good vibes in return.
Yeah. Well, and also, there is actual scientific research that
Hmm.
says that smiling actually, the physical act of smiling, because of, you know, your parents would smile and everything would be good, and you would smile back at them as a child and a baby, even. You learn this in infancy as you go through life. And the more you smile, it does actually trigger dopamine. The scientific
Yep.
research indicates that triggers the act of smiling, even if you don't mean it, can actually trigger dopamine in your system and make you happier.
Huh.
Yeah.
In
Interesting.
my The Book of Kennedy Project Carpe Diem, uh, I fictionalize a semi-real event, uh, and to make the point, kind of the butterfly effect. If you remember that theory in that movie, Sam
Absolutely.
or Kennedy fakes a smile, forces a smile to Sam, a divorcee who's at Holy Cow Creamery with his kids. It's his weekend. He's got the kids. He's divorced, but the kids are acting up. She could tell he's having a bad day. She forces a smile. He smiles back. He calms down. It makes his day better, which makes her day better. And then guess what? He was contemplating ending his life. He
Mm.
doesn't. He then goes on to remarry, has a child who cures another cancer. What did that smile play? It's not
Exactly.
like It's a Wonderful Life and Clarence is
Mhm.
going to come down and show what life would be like without you. Life, all these little things add up to a broader, greater sum total of importance. That little smile, in a way, helped cure a cancer. Now, again, that's fictional, but that's based on real world realities.
Science.
Yes,
Hmm.
and again, yeah, Clarence. It's a Wonderful Life is a wonderful movie, and it's like a movie. It's a major over dramatization.
Hmm.
Most people aren't gonna stop a pharmacist from poisoning a child, which destroys several families' lives. You're not likely to save a brother or whatever, even a stranger
Hmm.
from drowning, who then goes on to be a war hero, which saves countless other lives. That's an over dramatization. Little things you will. Kennedy doesn't remember the smile, but Sam does. It's important in Sam's life. Kennedy doesn't remember it, doesn't think about it. It doesn't make it any less important that it happened.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and like things like social connection and the loneliness epidemic. Uh, I work from home. I'm in a wheelchair. I don't go out a lot and I don't drive. So, I am a bit isolated. But
I
every
am
day
too.
I see this lady in the afternoon walk past. And sometime in the afternoon, between like 1 and 4, I think, I don't know, I haven't paid attention to the time. It's very minor. But on the days when I do not see her, I wonder where she is. And that's a social connection, even though it's not it's not that personal. And then every once in a great while, I'll see this lady walking her dog. And the first time I noticed her, I was at my door getting a delivery. And so I'm at the door, and I haven't even told Philip about this happening. So this is kind of cute. But her dog was off leash, and that's fine. I'm great with dogs. The door
If it
happened to be open,
behaved,
and it's
yeah.
a little like terrier type dog, maybe about this big. No more than 20 pounds for sure. And the dog runs into my house. And
Oh,
yeah,
little baby.
I don't know why I didn't tell you about this, but it was great.
Yeah.
And the lady's like, "Oh my God, I'm so
Wanted
sorry.
to
I'm so
visit.
sorry." And I'm like,
Hey.
"No, it's fine. He can visit me anytime." And he runs into the house, and he just wanders around the living room and then runs back out. Okay. And the person making the delivery was like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "It's a freaking purse dog. You could put this dog in a purse. Why are you freaking out?" But yeah, no, I was great with it. So there's been a few times I saw her coming with the dog, and I would open the door and say hi. Now the dog hasn't run to me again, but still, it was kind of like,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I had no
loved
idea that was
and
going
that
on.
was a major, in my opinion, that was a major social interaction because I had two people and a dog.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the reasons we started this podcast was that interface with people,
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead, Joseph. What were you going to say?
Yeah. Well, I don't know why anyone would want to enter with this face. But it's a joke. If you can't joke,
yes, I think I would swipe right on you.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right,
But
no
if we can't make fun
you
of
might be a little young for me, but
you can't. If you can't make fun of yourself, you shouldn't be laughing at or with others.
Absolutely.
Right? So, but I was going to say, we're talking human nature, human condition, and interactions here. I coined the term non-medical schizophrenia. Now, why do I say that? Literally, right, Martin Luther King Jr., the content of one's character. We are complex beings. And in fact, I wrote a song on that, tinyurl.com/JLD on Suno. You can find that there. Right? We are multiple personalities in the non-medical schizophrenia sense in one body. We have up days, we have down days, we have good days, we have bad days. I say that to say this. We're all entitled to a bad day. And if you're having a bad day, like Kennedy, forcing a smile your way, that might brighten your day. And conversely, you may be having a good day, you see someone else having a bad day, trying to lighten their mood and their day, even with a lame pun, can be used. In fact, I've got another song at tinyurl.com/JLD on Suno called Jamaica Me Crazy with these lame puns. And in it, right, it's an homage to reggae. But indeed, right, even a lame pun, man, is a good one. Yeah, and I don't do the accent as cultural appropriation. Well, get over yourself, you snowflakes. It's an homage. I've been to Jamaica. I love the people there, and love Bob Marley's music. So, but the point being, even a bad pun can induce a cringe, but it breaks them of their bad day, their bad mood, and hence. Elaine, and I was known as Jokester Joe on Savage Unfiltered when I used to, also Raging Joe. Again, to that, your multiple personalities, they come out at different times. That doesn't make you medically schizophrenic. Why I coined it non-medical schizophrenia. But Jokester Joe on Savage Unfiltered, here's a Joe original. In fact, things are always so serious, you got to keep a sense of humor. Even my Tear Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You book, there's a comic relief chapter that makes that point. If you don't keep a sense of humor, you'll go, another song, Cypress Hill, insane in the membrane, right? So here's a Jokester Joe original, and it's in my Terror Strikes book. Shakespeare, to be or not to be is truly the question. Because if it's to be, I got bingo. Huh? Huh?
I like
Very lame pun, but it's like, oh, but hey, it's a mood breaker. It's an icebreaker. It's a game changer, as lame as it is.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Well,
The facial expression really
I
capped it
have
off.
I don't think I made this up, but and maybe I did. I didn't make up the joke per se, but I made up the way you use it. Okay, say knock knock.
Knock knock. Rather than the other way around, right?
Right. And that's
I'm
one of
supposed
my
to say
favorite.
who's there, right?
That's
yes.
like my favorite joke.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, this isn't really a joke, but I'm going to go there anyway. It's another Joe original, right? We've all heard the phrase there, and we're talking about being positive, at least trying, right?
Yeah.
Another tune, Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. Right? Look yourself in the mirror. I was on with Conscious Man 7 the other day and created the Joe Lenard Man in the Mirror moment, or mirror moment. Look at yourself in the mirror. Profess and resolve to start change with you. It starts within. What are you doing? Remember, when you're pointing your finger, 3 more of your own are pointing right back at you. Or like Rick Springfield, prayer. I send a prayer to heaven for the chance to be a better man than the man I see. Now, why do I say all that? I'm setting up this quasi joke. We've all heard the phrase, there's no I in team. The Joe original part, but there is a big hole in the A. Don't be an a-hole.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot to think of. You know what? If I'd have known all of the bands you were going to name, I would have made the musical Elite Eight. But you reeled off about 8 bands there already. So
yeah. And then,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and I was just going to throw in a promo for my music again. tinyurl.com/JLD on Suno. I've got a parody playlist, which is more than a dozen songs, a Christian playlist, a life and living playlist, an ADHD OCD playlist, because I'm an OCD sufferer. So you might enjoy that. There's like a half a dozen songs in there, including one called Wired. It's a thrash, a kind of a Linkin Park type song. Because that's what OCD is in your brain. Never turns off. Right. Shut off. Give me some peace of mind for just 2 seconds.
And I have a little bit, a very, very low grade of OCD. But I am you say that you're an OCD sufferer. I am an ADHD enjoyer.
I have both.
Yeah.
I had on Maria Jane and books/author weeks, April 2026 of the Christitutionalist podcast. I had an author week. Maria Jane was one of them, and she deals in autism awareness. She has an autistic character in her Office Pact book of her perfect quote unquote series of books. And so I wanted to do OCD awareness also in my next book, tentatively titled Loss. It won't be called that. It's dropping in May of 2026. It'll be an Amazon Kindle exclusive, again, to help keep the costs down. Cost of books adults are outrageous these days. But
Yeah.
because people think OCD, what do they think? Howie Mandel germophobia. Yeah, autism is a spectrum. So is ADHD. So is
Right.
OCD, and I'm actually quasi bipolar. I have both.
Mm.
Now, I know there's a really famous author. He's worked with Neil Gaiman. I can't think of his name right now. We have a friend, Mary Conley, who's absolutely obsessed with him.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Harry Pratchett?
he's kind of a
David Sedaris.
yes,
David
David
Sedaris.
Sedaris.
Yeah.
And he famously has OCD pretty badly, to the point where, like, as a child, he would his parents would get calls on a very regular basis because he was licking all of the
Stamps.
no the light switches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
he licked light
my!
switches. And he couldn't go
Oh
past one
my!
without licking it like 3 times or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when
Okay.
he was having his moments, and they would call his mother, and his mother would she wasn't having it, you
She'd
know.
show up with the Lysol and wipe off the.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, she would be like,
And
yeah, and,
what else
who's
can you
being
do?
injured? She
Yeah.
didn't want to take it seriously. Kind of like I have a friend from work who has an autistic son, and she refuses to let them tell him. So even though he does have someone who comes to the classroom and helps him, that he does not know that that they have been told he's autistic. She doesn't want him to know he's different.
Yeah. I also
And
have
it's an interesting, way to do it, but you also have
It's hard for the person to come to grips if you don't deal with that, though. I don't,
I agree.
again, there's no such right or wrong way to parent. So I
Right.
don't want to judge in that. Well, I will judge. I don't think it's the best way to do it, but hey, you're the parent. I'm not that child's parent. It's not my place to insist. As long as the child's not being harmed and the child does not sound like the child. But in the case of the
Right.
kid licking light switches, what do you want to do?
Hilarious,
Put
kind of. I would be like, I think it was
a
funny.
muzzle on the child? That you
Right.
can't
What do you
do
want me to do?
that. You
And
can't.
but she didn't put him through treatment. None of it. He grew up just being himself.
Well, I wouldn't
And that's
graduate
how-
to sockets, I don't think.
But I mean, on the subject of not telling a person the correct information, well, I think he did lick sockets too if they weren't like on the floor,
Well, as long
But,
as you don't
but-
get your tongue into the socket and
Right,
complete
right,
Right,
right.
it's
circuit.
fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what is it on the subject of not giving a person the correct information? My great aunt, famously, and this is the absolute truth, her daughter was going on a date with a boy. She was about 14 or 15. I'm not sure. Maybe let's say 15. Okay, so she's going on a date, and her mother tells her, "Don't forget that if you kiss a boy while wearing a bathing suit, you will get pregnant." The boy's solution to that was to tell her to take it off. She was 16 when she gave birth.
Oh,
Wow.
oh my. Funny,
Unhappy
not
ending.
funny. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So this taught the mother to tell the younger children the truth.
Yeah.
Okay,
Amen. Amen.
that was her oldest daughter.
Tough
Yeah,
life.
and regarding autism, I also on my Christitutionalist podcast had on April Ratchford. It officially dropped on April Fool's Day. A serious show. Yes, her name really is April. It was just coincidental. It's not a joke show. We discussed autism very seriously on April 1st, April Ratchford.
Okay.
Yeah, about autism spectrum. A lot of different things are really spectrum, and people don't
Right.
understand. You could be low grade, high grade. Like Maria Jane, her character is high functional degree, high level functioning
Mhm.
autistic.
Right.
Some God rest. Well, I can't say that. Corey, family surely had to put Corey in an assisted living home because she's older and can't handle him anymore. He's on the, a lower functionality end of the autism spectrum, and Downs, and he's kind of a big guy. She's
Mhm.
tiny. If he falls, she can't lift him, and he's now developed dementia. So
Mhm.
he's got to have 24/7 care she can't give him. But we love Corey to no end. Just understand the autism and the Downs, and
Mhm.
just so nice, so wonderful a person, and
Yeah.
you
You know,
hate to see those things, but it's just reality of life. Unfortunately, it happens.
right.
Now I have like a third cousin who it's kind of it's actually kind of an inspiring story. Now, when she was 3 years old, she was already reading. And
Mm.
when she was 4, she had a really, really bad fever. Now, they lived in a very rural area and were over 40 minutes away from a hospital. When her fever hit 105, her parents put her in the car, put some, cold presses on her head, and rushed her to the emergency room. 45 minutes later, her fever was over 106. They had trouble getting it down, and she never fully recovered.
Hmm.
Mm.
So she couldn't read anymore. She didn't always recognize people. Now, her parents, in the country way, kept her home and took care of her. And her mother would dress her and bathe her and all of that stuff. And when she was about 40, the child, not the mother, because they were older when they had her. So it's entirely possible she might have been autistic anyway, but she, of course, had autistic tendencies with what you would call, using the bad word, retardation. Okay. So, her mother did all this stuff for her, and she developed the ability to do some stuff independently, but not much. Now, when the mother developed a serious illness, they had to make the choice, breaking their hearts, to put her in care.
Hmm.
Hmm.
2 years later, she had her own apartment, her own bank account, a boyfriend, and she got herself to her part-time job using, uh, like, I guess, what do
Public
you call
transit or something.
buses?
Okay.
You know.
Well, not so terrible
So
then.
this woman is 42 now. She was 40. Her mother was still bathing her. She's
Mm.
42. She's living on her own. She has a bank account, a job, and uses public transportation.
Good.
So, I mean,
You never
no,
know. Like
right,
now,
exactly.
again, I have the problem with
Mhm.
people that have a problem with words. I don't have a problem with the
Oh, yeah,
word
no, I'm just yeah.
retarded. And here is why. It's a clinical diagnosis.
Mhm.
It's not meant to be, unless if you use it like on someone who chooses to be stupid, you call them retarded. It's meant to be an insult. But when it's clinically applied, it's not an insult. It's not
Well,
a problem. Look at the
clinically, though,
move.
now they call it intellectual development disorder
Yeah, well, again, because we got to get all politically correct on things. But look at the movie
or
Rain
intellectual
Man.
disability, too.
Mhm.
Yeah, Rain Man, right? Dustin Hoffman.
Filmed
You
in
could
Cincinnati.
be you
Yeah,
could
right.
be mentally retarded in a lot of respects, but
Mhm.
yet a savant when it comes to something else, like in Rain Man, the portrayal of observation and numbers
Mhm.
was a savant. So people need to learn to lighten up and not so easily get offended by these
Right,
words.
right.
And I'm going to bring up unrelated. I was on with Gandhi, who is a mulatto human. She has a black parent and a white parent. The word mulatto is the very definition, a parent of one of each race. She's not offended by that word, but people want to be offended for her
Well,
for
see,
that word. It's not a slur. It is a factual term.
but
If you're
There's
not
a
entirely
there's something to be said for the fact that when you introduce these things to an environment, though, that there are people that don't know how to apply the words,
it's
and so it
Martin
becomes
Luther King Jr., content of character. How does one mean it? Well intentioned and clinically, linguistically correct,
yeah,
or intentionally willful malice of forethought, attempt to be hurtful, spiteful,
Right.
whatever. Their
right.
content of character, what the intention is, matters. You can't just automatically get offended. Like Gandhi is not offended by mulatto. It is the proper linguistic term for what she is.
I do think that it's a noble it's a noble thing to try to correct things where we've done things historically wrong, where we've used terminology that has been hurtful, it has been emblematic of suppression and bad things. I think it's a noble cause to try to roll some of that stuff back. So I kind of agree with what I kind of see what you're saying. I feel
I
like that
I
it's
understand what you're
best,
saying.
yeah, it's best effort. Sometimes it goes too far. Like it has gone too far when you get people that are like doxing other people over trying to
Well, that's plain
those type of things.
illegal. That I
Yeah,
mean, there's no room for that for any reason. That's but
shadow banning
yeah,
people, trying to bring, there are things where it's gone too far, but I feel like the trying to correct some of that stuff is a noble pursuit.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Mulatto
have
goes back to like slavery when they were being sold like livestock. That's
Yeah.
it can,
what it does. That's why
but well,
it's now out of fashion.
it may be out of vogue, but that doesn't change the definition of the term.
It doesn't change the definition. It just changes the
Right now, I was going to bring up.
societal
I
acceptability.
I coincidentally have a friend whose name happens to be Phil Stargill of the Abolitionist Roundtable Wham Radio, Saturdays 9 to 10 a.m. in the Ann Arbor, Michigan area, a Black American.
Mhm.
He takes offense to the term African American. He's not from Africa.
He's not from Africa.
He's never been to Africa. And most Black people he knows aren't from there or ever been there. He is a Black American. That's not an offense to him.
Well,
And
Black
it is
American's acceptable.
yeah, it's a warping of who you are if you're claiming allegiance to something else other than being an American. And I was going to go somewhere else with that, but I've forgotten my train of thought here now. But
I hate
you're
when that
right. I'm German, Italian, and Polish by descendancy. That doesn't mean I completely abandoned the who or where my lineage is from. I honor them, but I'm an American. I'm not an Italian American. I'm not a German American. I'm not a Polish American. I'm an American with those descendancies.
right.
Phil is a man who happens to be Black. Who the hell cares
Exactly.
what his skin tone
Thank you.
is? Content of character. He's
Right.
an American, not an African American.
Right. Well,
And
and
No argument
I
on
know
this one.
that there are two founders, Neil Mammon and Kevin McGarry, founders of Every Black Life Matters, a counter to the blackline Marxist buy, loot, murder, buy large mansions crowd. Neil Mammon, a white guy, actually born in Ghana, Africa. If anyone's Elon Musk, Charlize Theron,
African American.
you don't get any whiter than that person is, Charlize Theron, but she's really actually dual citizened
From Africa. Yeah.
African. Right. Words have to have meaning. And the distortion and warping destroys our language. Neil Mammon, white guy born in Ghana, is an African American. I've got no problem with him using the term because he was born there.
Yeah. Well, and what is it? To get back up a little, Brad Williams, a comedian. I don't know if you've heard of him. I love him. I got on him because my mother's maiden name was Williams. But Brad Williams, he uses the term midget in his.
A lot of people hate that. Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, and what he said was that other midgets have no problem with it, and he actually says other midgets have no problem with it. Most of them. He said, but invariably after every event, concert, whatever you want to call it, a white woman will walk up to him and tell him that the term midget, he might want to stop saying midget. Yeah. He said it's always a white woman, usually from the suburbs.
Yep.
Well, I feel like we should have put I feel like I didn't know this, but we probably should have put a trigger warning on this episode about 20 minutes ago.
No, Scott, the guy
that I'm not going to tell my Tootsie Roll joke.
Good.
Am I?
Good.
Is it Scott that created the Dilbert cartoon, created the term
Love
awful?
the Dilbert cartoons.
Average, I forget the A now, but what white female liberal, affluent white female liberals.
Yep.
They get offended on everyone's behalf. They don't need you to. Yeah, they don't need you to be offended for them. STFU and TTFO. Leave them alone. It's like the term, the issue here is victimology. If you want to continually always find offense where none is attended, it's you holding yourself back. You are holding yourself down. You have a victimhood mentality. You are always a victim. No, you are not. Get over yourself. You have no greater opportunity on this world than in this country. You have equal opportunity, not a guarantee of the equity outcomes.
Well, I don't think everything is based on who you are, as whether or not you should have a voice about something. I mean, if you see injustice or if you see things that you don't think are correct, I think you have an integrity issue where you might need to point that out if you're a person that embraces certain values. So I don't know that you can say that this person is not qualified to speak on this matter because you're not a certain demographic or something like that. That's the same thing we get into with
fair.
Like celebrity, like the president hates Bruce Springsteen because he doesn't agree with him. He doesn't align with him politically. It's like, well, Bruce Springsteen has every right, just like every American citizen. He has every right in the world to say everything that he's talking about, even though he's a millionaire. He's speaking on behalf. He's speaking on behalf of poor people, destitute people. He has the right to do that. And his critics will say, well, he's just a millionaire. He's a fraud. He's a hypocrite.
Always a millionaire.
But the message itself,
in that life.
The message itself.
Well, it's the hypocrisy. It's millionaires who often supporters of Bernie Sanders and Pocahontas raise taxes on the millionaires and billionaires. Well, spring stink. And I like Bon Jovi. I like him a lot, but I'm sorry, he's another. Oh, okay. He's another hypocrite. You notice Bernie stopped saying we need to tax millionaires and billionaires. He only says we need to tax the billionaires now that
He's always said the
Bernie,
top 1% of the top 1%.
yeah. Now that Bernie is a millionaire and owns a $250,000 whip and multiple homes, including one on the coast that he keeps claiming will be underwater soon. But the point being, Bon Jovi and Springsteen both own farms, and they have animals on the farm. Why? Because if it's classified as a ranch, they pay less property taxes.
And I'm not going to argue with him on that.
Yeah,
I mean,
back
I'm
to
not.
Scott Adams.
Because not everybody has that resource like they do. But
Scott Adams labeled Black Americans
It's
a
the
hate
hypocrisy.
I'm
And
sorry.
he
What did you say?
Say that again.
Scott Adams, he was on a live stream 3 years ago. He labeled Black Americans a hate group and said the best advice he would give to white people is to get the hell away from Black people, and suggested there was no fixing the issue. And that's when his cartoon got dropped by a lot of newspapers.
Right.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
So,
now I'm okay with it.
Phil, back to what you were saying. Indeed, there is still injustice. Don't take out of context, and media matters. If you're watching, I know you're gonna lie again about what I said. I did not say there's no such thing anymore as racism. I did not say that. I'm saying this isn't the 1950s. It's better. Is it perfect? No such thing. And when you see it somewhere, yes, speak out about it, but don't make it up. Jussie Smollett and his hoax, and all Bubba Wallace and the news hoax, all these hoaxes. When it exists in reality, yes, call it out.
Okay, I got a reality for you. I got a reality for you. RFK recently was called out for his comments on a podcast where he suggested that Black children were victimized by medications that made them inherently violent and prone to criminal behavior, and that the best way to cure them of this would be to reparent them, take them away from their birthright parents, and basically recalibrate an entire race of people. And he denied it, but he's actually on video saying that.
Yeah, you can hear those words
in the
coming out of his
congressional
mouth.
hearing. So that's not manufacturing something. This is like an inherent systemic racism that's sort of infiltrated, one of the most powerful officials in government.
Yeah, I didn't hear that, but I did hear Biden say poor kids are just as smart as white kids, talking about blacks. I've heard all of Biden's racism. So has it ended?
Yeah,
no, it hasn't. Can blacks be racist? Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yes, they can.
Yeah, there's a definite. I know.
Louis Farrakhan.
My manager used to talk about it because she was dark chocolate. Her complexion was a very dark chocolate. Beautiful skin, though. I mean, so beautiful. But like one of the things that we talked about there was a group photo of our whole department. And I will say that most of our department is African or black. Let's just go with black, because I don't want to offend anybody with African American. But yeah, she was honestly, her face was difficult to see in the photo. And that was, we talked about, she talked about how that did bother her. And I was like, well, we need to make sure that the photographer is aware that there can be an issue in that situation, because everybody else, you could see their faces, but hers. And what they had done was they had adjusted to make sure that the paler, less, the white folk, showed up well.
All right.
Because even myself, sometimes in certain lighting, it can be kind of hard to distinguish my features.
Yeah.
And I am what I consider to be a pale American.
So, are we going to do the Elite Eight mini bracket?
Yeah.
Well, I want to make one last point. Louis
Uh-huh.
Farrakhan, a black nationalist separatist, the Nation of Islam,
Nation of
he
Islam.
wants to take Utah and parts of America and make it a black national state. Exclude and kick out all white people of the area. Can whites be racist? Hell yes. Can
Absolutely.
blacks be racist? Hell yes. Is it correct? No. It's negative. It's contradictory to my belief in Martin Luther King Jr.'s biblical reality, scriptural content of character
Hmm.
doctrine.
Well, I did.
He goes back to the Hymietown remark, right? Farrakhan.
Yeah, well, no, Jackson. Jesse Jackson made the Hymietown comment, I think, but
I have often wondered about the idea of giving Israel the option to move to America and providing them with a space that has the same amount of coast that they have, but better coast. You know, so we pay whatever
that,
state it is. We
that's
take
not
the
their
money that we
ancestral
send to
native
Israel.
land, though.
I know, but no, this is just my idea.
Yeah.
We take the money that we usually send to Israel for like maybe 5 years, and we pay the people in, let's say, just as an example, Rhode Island to get out, move. And
It's
we
an
make that
interesting thought.
Israel. The entire state becomes Israel. Israel moves over here. The people have the option of staying and living in Israel or moving. They can have citizenship. They just get citizenship. They get dual citizenship as American and Israeli. Okay. Israel moves over here. What would that do for the Middle East? You know?
Nothing.
I mean, it's just
Nothing.
an idea. Probably
The
Probably not.
anti-Semitism today is
Right.
out of control, and
Yeah.
it's no different than blaming. If a white person is racist and wants to blame all black people for their problems, is no different than an
No.
anti-Semite trying to blame an entire class of people for
Right.
their. It's lack of personal responsibility and any self-awareness, one's own faults for one's own problems. It's not like Jewish people have nothing to do all damn day but follow you around and try to sabotage your life.
Exactly.
Get over yourself. And
And
Jesus was a Jew, born a Jew, raised a Jew, fulfilled the Jewish scriptures. Matthew 5:17, I have come to fulfill, not erase or replace the prophecy and the Torah. It's why it's the Old Testament in our Bible. All Jews did not kill Christ. You can't blame all Jews for that.
Right,
It was, and the ones that were part of it, it's why Jesus said, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. It was preordained. It was prophesied. Jesus had to be put to death on the cross to prove he was the Messiah and rise. It was God's will. So if you're upset for Jewish people or Pilate and Romans for Christ's death, you're really mad at God. It was God's plan.
Yeah.
So stop it. Stop
I
it.
want to throw in here that I am absolutely pro-Jewish. I've known Jewish people. I have gone to temple with Jewish people, children, friends. I am totally pro-Jewish. I am just not pro-Israel. I'm just going to say it point blank. But let's go into the
Yeah, are we
Elite
going to do
Eight
something
Back to
uncontroversial?
Farrakhan, though, what the Hymietown thing, it was like a week later that he said that
Farrakhan or Jackson?
Farrakhan, after Jackson said Hymietown,
Okay.
said to the Jews that if you harm this brother, I warn you in the name of Allah, this will be the last one you harm. And that's what kind of threw gas on the fire of the Hymietown thing. That's when
And there's a
Farrakhan became
whole
a national name.
Tawana Brawley farce and the Luke lacrosse, scam, con, farce. Where it exists, call it out. And where someone's perpetrating a fraud, I'll call that out too. I don't care if you're white, black, or pink polka dotted.
Or a millionaire.
Yeah.
A millionaire or a poor person. Exactly. I'll call it out.
I would love for us to do the elite.
Yeah, I don't think we flew right past that.
I'm
I
sorry.
did not really work on it.
I
actually
became,
looked it up
I became
online.
Raging Joe today and
We
just
tried to do
kind
an
of,
Elite Eight on our last podcast, and it took 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Right. And I think, okay, so obviously we touched upon something that we had a very good conversation about. I don't think we agreed on everything.
But this is
And that's
human
okay.
nature. It's the way
okay.
it is. Yeah.
We really enjoyed having you on, Joseph. Very lively, comical person. We really enjoyed your company here. So, why don't
Well, you
tell us
saw
what
both Jokester Joe and Raging Joe today.
Right.
Both.
So let's talk. Where can they get your book? Where can people get your book?
Well,
Terror Strike coming to a
the
city near you.
easiest thing for people to see all my links, go to Linktree. Linktr.ee/J Lenard Detroit. Again, it's not Lenard. It's Lenard without an O. J for Joseph. Lenard, Lenard. Detroit, because I'm from the Detroit area. Linktree, J Lenard Detroit. You'll find my links to Amazon, my own website, all the social media platforms I'm on, Suno, my
All your
music,
tiny URLs.
Tiny URL, right?
I use Tiny. I love that link shortening because I write for beforeitsnews.com, tinyurl.com/JLD articles. The full web length is way too long to share. tinyurl.com/JLD articles rolls off the tongue, real easy to remember. A 150 long character URL is not reasonable to share.
No.
And we'll add those links to our show notes.
Oh, good. I was going to ask if we could put a link in.
And this will air a week from Wednesday, and I'll give you a heads up when a reminder in Podmatch.
And I will share across my 15 plus social media platforms and whatnot.
That.
And by then, my next book, May of 2026, may already be dropping a Amazon Kindle exclusive. I'm hoping to just make it a 99-cent Kindle ebook exclusive short story dealing about life and living and, human nature like we're talking about here. It's about loss. Death is a inevitable part of our life and living. So I deal with, loss, grief, regret, guilt, wanting to cling to something that's lost and never can be recovered in this plane of existence ever again.
All right.
Okay. I feel like I kind of drove things.
Yes.
And I also feel like maybe
one more joke.
Uh-huh.
You drove it, huh? Yeah, these women drivers, always a problem.
I don't have a license.
It's a joke, people.
But,
it's just a joke. Lighten up.
Aaron, was there anything that you wanted to touch on that you didn't get to because I didn't let you?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I will say to your joke that I was the one that ran over Lisa's foot. And I'm not a female driver. So.
He was dropping me off at work, and he pulled the car forward while I was getting my backpack out of the back of the car. And I'm like screaming, "Move! Move! You're on my foot! Move! Get off my foot!" And he didn't believe me.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't believe me, but he didn't believe me. And so my coworker, whom he was driving home.
All right, we got a minute.
Yeah. Tell him. That's it.
We got a minute. All right. So I feel bad about it. I don't think that I didn't believe you. You were sitting on your foot.
You're just probably shocked. It took him a long time to
Shock. Yeah, shock.
You're on my foot. What do you mean I'm on your foot?
Like we sit there and talked about.
I'm over here.
So, so
Okay.
Joseph, it was great.
Yeah, I wanted, can you tell for a moment, say for a moment afterwards, there's a joke I want to tell you, but it's kind of an off-air joke.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.